I think it has been clear that the regime was going to come after Advocate Thabani Mpofu. There is a story that comes, that was done by newzimbabwe.com, which says headlines, leaked letter to ZAC accuses High Court judge, top lawyer Thabani Mpofu, of conflict of interest. So this is the story that was run by newszimbabwe.com, and obviously Thabani Mpofu had to go after the media outlet, but you remember the journalist existed to actually be the fourth estate, to expose, of course, without going in sometimes into details on the issues that are, on the public domain, and the public ought to understand and to know. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So, in a story that was run by newszimbabwe.com, it says leaked letter to ZAC accuse High Court judge, top lawyer Thabani Mpofu of conflict of interest. Let me read this story. There is a lot that I will be reading surrounding this story before I bring in my input, or whatever I would be reading will actually gives you a clear picture of everything and analyze everything. It says High Court judge Priscilla Mnangagwa Manongwa and the prominent lawyer Advocate Thabani Mpofu have been drawn into controversy after an anonymous whistleblower accused them of a conflict of interest in a leaked letter seen by newszimbabwe.com. So if you hear a whistleblower, why is this person not named? And should ZAC waste its energy and resources on a whistleblower and the professional links of the two compromise judiciary impartiality? The author who says they were writing anonymously for fear of victimization, who can victimize him in this matter, alleges that Advocate Mpofu continues to take instructions from Mnangagwa and Associates, a law firm they say still bears the judge's name. And it goes on to say, I write to raise my concern over a serious conflict of interest between the above mentioned court officials. Despite having a brother who works at Mnangagwa and Associates, where I believe the Honorable Judge still has interest, as her name still appears at the law firm, Advocate Mpofu takes instructions from the law firm and appears before Justice Mnangagwa in those matters. The whistleblower argues that this arrangement is highly undesirable and grossly unfair to other litigants who will be in the dark about the relationship between the Honorable Judge and Advocate Mpofu. The letter goes on to list several cases the author believes demonstrate the alleged conflict. Among them is, they name them HC 2312-24, Colin Zondai Makoni versus the state, which the writers say came before Justice Mnangagwa, despite the fact that it was from her law firm, involving lawyers Skumbuzo Mpofu and Skyvane Vongai Tendere. The matter is pending pronouncements, the letter notes. The whistleblower also cites Thelma Chimbanga versus El Gono Enterprise HC 1518-24, which they say was heard by the same judge despite originating from the law firm and is still awaiting a set down. Another flagged case is Blue Star Logistics versus Harare Motorways HC 8108/24, where Thabani Mpofu is representing the applicant, with the author adding, "I believe this anomaly is being overlooked since Thabani Mpofu and Webster Chikwana are the best of friends." The author insists that Justice Mnangagwa should not hear any matters instructed to Advocate Mpofu by Mnangagwa and associates legal practitioners, urging ZAC to intervene because these allegations, which are very serious in nature, be investigated so as to avoid prejudice to other litigants. The writer further notes that this is not their first complaint to ZAC. Kindly note that I once wrote to your good office again on the 24th of June 2024. So this is the accusations. I think they are very, very dull and cold. Okay, so it says, I want, because I cut along the line, so I have to start reading from what Advocate Thabani Mpofu says. He says, "I wonder why an established organization would run such a story without carrying my voice. The letter which founds the story is simply false. 3 cases have been identified. I absolutely have nothing to do with the first 2 cases, was never briefed in them, and naturally never appeared before the judge or any judge for that matter. The names are completely foreign to me, never been revealed even in my power naps. This is made up rubbish. Journalism completely gone to the dogs." These days, the advocate actually hammers people. I hope we are not going to be hammered here for running this story. "The 3rd case is known to me, but I was briefed in that matter by a completely different, well-established firm. The litigant I represented has never seen Sikhumbuzo's client, and he has never been involved in that matter in any way, shape, form, or size. As it turns out, the matter did not proceed because it was withdrawn by the litigant against whom I appeared. The falsehoods do not, however, end there. I do not know Webster Chikwana is and cannot assume that this relates to another person. I have no friend by the name Webster. I have no friend by the name Chikwana. No complaint has ever been raised against me, which the Webster Chikwana would have suppressed. So I have decided to deal with this purely on facts and not even engage legal arguments. I'm hardly surprised that the author of the letter has decided to hide behind anonymity. I expect the publisher of this story to take this thing down immediately and tender an apology unless the facts reported can be established. Unfortunately, I'm targeted by different people, and will take it that the publication wants to enable my enemies, and this will not end well. Singing Zwangu Guchachemwa. So he has also asked this publication to actually take the story down and actually promised to rain on them. So I'm doing a live broadcast. If you can watch, if you are, I believe the person is a supporter of this particular channel, and you will notice that I'm doing something. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done. So now, and this matter was actually put to rest by an unexpected person in this matter, and that is the lawyer who usually represent ZANU-PF. He actually put this matter to rest. So that's why I said this story will be done through reading what has been shared by legal minds. That is Louis Uriri. He's a ZANU-PF lawyer. He has represented ZANU-PF numerous times. He decided to weigh in on newzimbabwe.com story. It says, I normally do not express my views. I'm sorry, any views. I normally do not express any views on these threats, preferring instead to observe from the proverbial terraces. I am, however, constrained to do so in this instance. I speak first as an officer of the law who subscribe to the entrenched principle that the bench must be above reproach and that its integrity cannot be impugned without good and sufficient factual and legal cause. Second, I speak because Advocate Falcram has been personally known to me for decades. As my student at the University of Zimbabwe, then as my pupil at the bar, and later as one of the sharpest legal minds this country has produced, not to mention a long-standing professional colleague. His professional integrity is something I can personally attest to. I also known the judge concerned since her days in private practice, and subsequently upon her elevation to the bench, she has always been, in my experience, to the best of my knowledge and information, as straight and professional as one can reasonably imagine. I have never had reason to question her professional integrity. I therefore tend to an off-the-cuff consideration of the matter. First, the facts as far as they are ascertainable. Sorry, I need to go to begin regrettableness. Okay. So I therefore tend to an the cut consideration of the matter. First, the facts as far as they are ascertainable, and the second, the law as far as it is understood. To begin with, this regrettably an unnecessary scandalization of a judge and of the judiciary as an institution. It is also an unnecessary scandalization of officers of the court without any legal or factual basis. As a matter of established fact, Advocate Falcram is clear that he had never briefed in 2 of 3 referenced matters. In the third, he was indeed briefed, but not by the firm alleged in the complaint. On the facts alone, therefore, the allegations collapse. They are false and without any factual foundation. Let us, however, assume purely from argument's sake that the factual allegations were true. Would a professional misdemeanor arise? I think not. Upon appointment to the bench, a judge severs ties with their former firm. The law does not preclude a judge from hearing matters originating from that former firm. By both training and judiciary oath, a judge is presumed objective, fair, and dispassionate. That is the rule of judiciary practice across all common law jurisdictions. The complaint is not that this particular judge failed to sever ties. The complaint is something else entirely. That Judge X must not hear matters briefed to counsel Y by firm Z. Yet no one would complain if the same Judge X had matters briefed to counsel A by the very same firm Z. The logic does not hold. It would not hold even if the firm changed, even if the firm changed its name, its partners, or its branding. It remains non-logic. In truth, the complaint is frivolous, candid. It is an attempt to say that the judge cannot hear matters originating from her former firm if and those matters are briefed to a particular counsel. This has no legal or factual foundation. It has the practical effect of denying litigants the right to counsel of their choice. It also smacks of an effort at bench hunting and counsel vetting in ways that are incompatible with the independence of both the bar and the bench. Lady Justice is blind and must be left blind. The agenda, unfortunately, is transparent. Someone is out to get one or the other of the judge and advocate fulcrum, with the result that the other becomes collateral damage. So too is Kumbuzo, whose name appears to have been dragged in for no defensible reason. Let us resist the temptation to scandalize the bench and the bar without good and sufficient factual and legal cause. The integrity of the administration of justice demands not less. So I think this, if you read these actually 3 long essays, they spell it out. I say it, someone is after Thabani Mpofu, and to me, I'm not afraid to point fingers at that person. It is none other than the Mnangagwa faction, and most probably Zukanandas, because he is giving them the hardest time ever regarding the third term aspirations of Mnangagwa, as well as also Zukanandas. Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching us for the very first time,